The US has changed the deal slightly in India's favor. Do you think India demanded it? Rushabh Tare says the US released a fact sheet and then changed it. India commits to India intends. So the joint statement between India and the US, which was put out by the Indian government, said that India intends to purchase $500 billion of US products within a certain time frame. And the American statement said that India has committed to purchasing that. So that's a pressure tactic. That's by putting this falsehood out in public, the intention was to then make India post facto accept this change. So India has stood firm, and now the Americans have changed it back to India intends instead of India commits. Pulses clause. The Americans had introduced some pulses clause that was never agreed upon. Data security tax, etc. All those things. So, yeah, the Americans have tried all these backhanded maneuvers and all these pressure tactics and all these underhand tactics, all these arm twisting maneuvers and methods. So let's understand one thing very clearly, my friends. This trade deal, it's an interim framework for it's a framework for an interim trade deal. So an interim trade deal is not a final trade deal. It's a temporary thing. And what has been announced is a framework for an interim trade deal. So it's not even a deal, it's just a framework. So understand this, any deal with the US is not worth the paper it is written on. Trump will go and change it tomorrow morning. Trump will walk out of the deal if he feels like. Trump does that, doesn't he? Trump walked out recently of the deal he signed with South Korea. Trump in the past has walked away from a deal that was signed by the US with Iran, the JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, in 2017 or whatever it was. The US habitually walks out of deals it has signed. So understand, I don't know why certain people are celebrating this trade deal with the US. Even politicians are celebrating it in certain political parties. There's nothing to celebrate here. This is a framework for a temporary interim trade deal, which is not even the final thing. And this is a framework. And the moment the framework was announced, the Americans started, post facto changing it. So there is nothing to celebrate here. If things stand as they are okay. It's not a terribly bad deal for India. It's actually, in a variety of ways, better than the deals the Americans have given to their own allies. Okay, let's not compare with Bangladesh for 1 or 2 points. Not important. And if you see the drill down into the points, you will see that there is no comparison at all. So overall, it's a decent thing. If it actually stands, then it's actually a good deal for India compared to what the Americans have given to their allies. It's obviously not an equal deal, but the Americans aren't treating anybody equally, right? So overall, it's good relative to everything else the Americans are doing. But once again, my word of caution is that no deal signed with the Americans is worth the paper it is signed on. The Americans will anytime, at any given point in time, if they feel like it, they will tear it up and walk away. So nothing to celebrate over here, as far as I see it.